Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, the 29th of July, 2022, and welcome to Hindsight, where we learn to be a better trader. We're going to take a look at some trades that were taken in the last few days and just generally talk about the BNPL sector, what happened, and why it may have happened. Now, first things first, we're going to take a look at ZipPay. We can see that it's been on a monster move since the 20th of July when it broke out, and it's just been on a sort of parabolic rally from 62 cents up to $1.70. Now, the reason for this doesn't appear to be fundamentally based. There's no real news announcement that came out. I think a quarterly came out, but there was really nothing in it. And or some sort of financial report came out, I think. And long story short, it's just a technical break on good volumes. So it had a high volume break on this day, and then it just felt like an excuse to push the stock to the upside. There was nothing else of interest, and this is one of the clean technical breaks that we've seen in the last 2 months. And it really helped that there was nothing else happening on the market. So we can see on Zip, not a single bounce ever since this $7 breakdown. We can see maybe a 2-day bounce here from $4.30 to $5.30, which is an okay bounce, but it's not a sustained move. And I think there was a news catalyst, judging by the volumes and the gap here. So a news catalyst and then flop. And in all this time, not a single bounce. So we have our very first real technical reason to break out on ZipPay. People might look at it and go, it's oversold. But when you look at it fundamentally, like I did a couple of weeks ago, it's not that bad. Like, the valuation seems about right, somewhere underneath $1. Equity wise is somewhere around $2, I think, which, you know, factoring in goodwill, yeah, $2 is like the absolute top. Yeah, that'd be equity backed, but it's losing money hand over fist. So, you know, the market isn't probably expecting a turnaround story on ZipPay just yet. So this feels like a technically driven move. Now we can start by looking at NASDAQ here. It's just on a retest and breakout to the upside, just like the S&P 500. Or rather, the US 500, which I've got the charts drawn. And we've had a bit of a bearish move since pretty much the start of the year in January. So it's just a sustained 6-month move to the downside, a nice down channel. It's finally broken out. So we've got an excuse to go bullish on something. So if we go to Affirm, AFRM, we can see that just like Zip, it's just on a massive downswing, and we have a technical reason for the breakout here. So this may have contributed to Zip's breakout because Affirm is stonking to the upside. It's gone from $23 to $31, which is a pretty significant move. And then it just decides to flop once it does that, whereas Zip maintains and rather sustains its move to the upside, which is kind of unusual. We also have SQ, which is block or square, and same sort of thing. It has a bit of a move on the day where it sort of breaks out of this level here, and that sort of gave ZipPay its initial push to the upside on the 20th of July. And from here, we've got one technical level, and it's a range. It's from about $1.35 to about $1.20. It's just a resistance range, and it just broke right through it. So if we bring up the 5-minute chart, it's actually very impressive how Zip held, and very fascinating at this point in time, 25th of July. There was a gap down from the previous day which held its highs, gap down into a pump to the upside. So that was really the first sign of life for ZipPay, that, you know, this wasn't over, this this sector pump, or rather this pump just for Zip. And then it stonked again to this dollar level, consolidated the highs, and closed near the highs again. So a pump consolidate effectively near the highs. And it just kept doing that. It kept pumping and pumping and pumping, hitting key levels and just absolutely monstering above them. So it hits this resistance area, a historical sort of resistance level, and then it just decides to gap up above it, bounce off a key level, and just continue to the upside. It's just like it doesn't fucking care. Now, a question I got asked is, how do you know when the top is in, right? Because as it's going up and up and up, if we bring up the daily chart, how do you know when the top is in? And my answer to that, a couple of people asked me that, and my answer to both of them was, you'll know. You'll just know. So you look at it and you're like, that's not the top. And then you see this candle, oh, there's the fucking top. There you go. That's your top. Now, how I identified it in real time, and it's really unfortunate I couldn't get shorts on this one, but real basic technicals. Range break. That's all it is. You know my top 3 setups of all time? I've got a video on it. Range break. It's really straightforward. Short. That's it. There you go. It's in real time. It's about identifying the highs. Sorry, it's about identifying the peaks and the troughs in real time. And of course, you know, these lines update as you go throughout the morning. So there's your bottom. As it keeps going, there's your top, and then you just keep moving the horizontal until it does a pullback. And it doesn't matter which way it goes, from top to bottom or bottom to top in this example. There you go. There's your range identified. Bounces, double bottom, bought the double bottom because double bottom plays are a thing these days. And then when it came back down to $1.64, closed it out. Triple bottom, not so much. And then it breaks down. Sadly, no borrow available, but that is your brain dead level to short. Just the breakdown. And then the add-on point is the breakdown. So should it come back up? But it doesn't. It just gets straight murdered. So there's your identification of the top. And you don't know where that is. And like you're looking at it here, you're like, no, zip's still fine. Zip's still fine. Zip, no, there it goes. That's it. We're done. Zip's done for the day. No more long positions. Having said that, I did catch a couple of longs. There was a level at $1.35. Huge reloader here on the book. Caught it for a few cents. Pull back. Tried catching it again. It tried on this candle here. It tried. Failed. Broke even. And that's all she wrote for Zip. Didn't really bother trying to play too many longs. I think I caught some sort of horizontal here at 126 as well. But again, break even, probably lost a tick or so, nothing too special. And that's it. I mean, that's all she wrote. The stock's dead, in my opinion. So the other trade for today was PBH, and this was sort of the one for me. And this was the exact same setup. Because I couldn't get shorts on ZipPay, it was all about PBH for me because I could get shorts on this one. So again, it chopped up in the first few minutes, started rallying to the upside, and on this candle started shorting. Sorry, it was more like right at the bottom here, just due to the nature of that candle and the volumes that were coming in. It was just short. So I got from memory it was high 3.7s, so 3.7, 379, 378. I may have got 3.8 and 3.81. I don't recall off the top of my head, but I remember seeing this candle as it was developing and just hitting the sell button. I didn't even look at the price. I just tried getting market orders in, and I wanted in on this short because it has a long way to go. So if we zoom out on PointsBet, let's bring up the daily chart for a bit of reference. It's had a nice little stonk the day before. I think that was purely on technicals. Had a news announcement. Hit $4, coming off $2.90. You know, on the chart, it doesn't look significant, but $2.80 to $4 is a big move in 2 days. So bringing up the chart again, it's just a range break. You know, this isn't, you don't have to be a genius to do range breaks. And then had a short as well that got filled here. There was a bit of a spread as well from memory, so just left an order in. I think it was 378 or 379, wicked, and then straight back down. And I tweeted out, someone was telling me when I'm thinking of closing, and I said 10:45 to 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't have a price target, I have a timing target. And you can see there's 10:46, right? and there's 11 a.m. So this is the timing to cover, and it's the bottom. It's fucking beautiful. With stocks like these, I find timing plays are better than price target plays, because I didn't really have a price target. The first price target was here, and then once that breaks, the previous closing price, once that gets demolished, what have I got left? I've got this horizontal here. I've got maybe this horizontal here. Don't care. Just let it sink and close in that 10:45 to 11 o'clock timing, and that's it. Timings are a thing that I do based on shares on issue and based on market cap size as well. So it's a bit of a thing that I do. It's a timing based play. So yeah, really nice, really nice short trade. Really happy with that one. I made up for the fact that I couldn't short any of the buy now pay laters. And having a look at LBY, if we look back, the 20th of July was when Zip first broke out. And 27th of July, so exactly a week later, is when the other buy now pay laters decided to follow suit and start pumping. So we got SZL, ZipPay, even B4P, Before Pay, SPT, all these sort of fintech stocks started rallying around the same time here. LBY happened to be one of the smaller market cap stocks, sitting at 30 mil. It was about, I think, 15 when I bought it. And on the 1 minute chart, or rather, I think I'll bring up the 3 minute because it is a little bit barcodey. So this is day one, and this is real time, what it looked like when I bought into it. My idea was really straightforward. It was, right, we've got a hyper bullish sector. The BNPLs are stonking, all of them collectively. ZipPay is not showing signs of slowing down on this particular day, on the 27th of July. So there's no reason for me not to buy this, right? It feels uncomfortable, and even when I bought it, it's just, it felt shitty. So I got it at 6.4, and it's really unfortunate you can't see that these are in 0.5 increments. But this, I think this hit 6.3. I ended up getting a little bit at 6.4. It pushed up to 7, came back down, and got more at 6.4, and just kept getting 6.4. And I went for a run. Because I don't like these really thinly traded stocks very much. I just wanted the cheapest setup, the cheapest market cap in the BNPL sector that wasn't pure garbage. I mean, B4P, I mean, don't even look at the chart for B4P. It's ugly. So LBY is the only one that was cheap and was in the sector and wasn't a complete pile of dog shit in terms of liquidity. So that's it. I set a stop loss at 6.1. I went for a run, and because for me, I knew that was what I needed. Otherwise, I'd start scalping this thing as it sort of broke highs, or just it was best for me, in my opinion, because I know myself well, is just set a stop and walk away. It's the best thing I can do for myself. In a hyper bullish sector and environment, set a stop, go make a cup of tea, go have some lunch, go for a run, do something, but don't watch the goddamn thing for every tick that it moves, because this is well after midday, right? This is like around 2 o'clock, 2:45. So liquidity is going to be thin, but it decides to stonk into close. So 6.4 rallies to 8, and to me that was a shock when I got back. Just really surprising. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to hold this overnight. And then of course it gaps up to 9 cents, which is just equally absurd. I mean, who is buying this from 7.4 to 9 cents? I can't understand. But anyway, closed out half, or just under half, at 9, and closed out the rest at 9.8. Now the fascinating thing, if I bring up the 1 minute chart, you might be thinking, wow, you're a real fucking bad trader. You're closing out at 9.8 and you're missing out another 50% move to the upside at 15 cents. Well, for anyone that actually trades and trades regularly around the 10-cent level, the 10-cent level is really fucking terrible to trade, right? Because you go from 10 cents, you trade 0.1 of a cent, and it goes to 0.5, right? So 10, 10.5, 11, 11.5. It's no longer 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4. So the increments change. They multiply by 5. So every tick matters at that point. And the funny thing is, is when was the last time anyone saw a stock push through 10 cents like this, right? That's 10.5. There's your 10-cent level. Who's ever seen this happen before, right? Maybe a couple of times in 2021 or 2020 during the COVID boom. But other than that, it just doesn't happen. It never happens, right? What you end up having is you have a push to 10, a pullback to 9.2, a retest at 10, and then maybe gets to 10.5, maybe 11 if you got a really good news announcement. And then if you got a really fucking quality news announcement, 11.5, and then retest of 10, and then rally to 14, 15, or whatever it's potentially fundamentally valued at. But to get something that shoots up straight like that, anyone that tells you that they saw 15 cents coming or even 13 cents is fucking bullshitting you, or they're a complete fucking amateur on the markets. One of the two. You might think I'm a little bit salty because I didn't catch the move, and well, not really. I'm happy with 6.4 to 9.8 or 9.4, 9.5 average. So it's a good move. So really happy with that, but really confused by this. I know people are talking about the news announcement, like, there's some mention of a takeover, yada yada yada, but that's just typical speculative bullshit, right? I mean, we never see a push past 10 to 15 like this. And then of course it consolidates, and then eventually, because it's in that 10-cent range, it's a bit rough to break out of. It eventually breaks out, and there's probably a one tick trade from here, break, retest, and then into close. Preferably not overnight, because I wasn't a fan of the news anyway. They mentioned cap raising as well, so fuck, it blows my mind that this even was possible. So I guess LBY really highlights the fucking psychotic nature of what was really happening on the BNPLs. I mean, this push to 15 really highlights what was happening, how exacerbated the market was, how enthusiastic they were just to get a trade on. And yeah, that's it. That's my trading for the last few days, and that's the thought process behind everything. If you learned anything or liked what you see, please do consider hitting that like or sub button. I'd appreciate that a lot. Otherwise, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.